Welcome to Legal Tech Live. This is the podcast covering the people, products, and platforms transforming the legal industry. I'm your host, Nick Rishwain, founder of Legal Tech Live.
And I'm Hannah Zumau, our in-house marketing expert. Every week, we'll bring you unfiltered conversations with the founders, builders, and innovators in the legal technology sector.
This is the show for those interested in growing their businesses and improving the legal world.
And the founders and operators looking to learn from others.
So if that sounds like you, join us and stay tuned for the following episode. With us tonight is somebody who I co-host with once a month and who is a renowned podcaster in the legal space. He's got a subscription attorney podcast. Well, you're going to tell me the exact name of it shortly, but he is the subscription attorney. He is the host and founder of Legal AI Live, and he actually does that one live, which is impressive, and it's a lot of work. I remember because we used to do this one live. With us tonight, Mathew Kerbis. Mathew, welcome to the show. Tell us, I've also understood that there is a now sunsetted podcast. Tell us about all three of your podcasts and your practice before we get into your startup.
Well, first of all, thank you both for having me. I'm a sucker for doing podcasts, guesting on podcasts. I can't help myself. And for what it's worth, I got into it before it was cool back in like 2017. Okay. And I bought my brother and I a Blue Yeti microphone because it came on a bundle deal on Amazon with one of the Assassin's Creed games.
The Blue Yetis were amazing in the 2015, 2016 era. They were fantastic.
And I used mine until it died, and I got the black one, and now it's just on a shelf in my office, right? And it's just a cool shelf object now. But anyway, so I was doing it for a while, recorded a couple episodes with him thinking I think we called it Philosophy Brothers, and we never published an episode. It was fun to catch up with my brother, right? And then I started guesting on pods in like 2018, 2019, and then the pandemic happened. Mm-hmm. You remember that thing, the pandemic? I don't know if anybody remembers that anymore. And everyone started podcasting. I was like, whoa, like I already have this equipment. I already have this know-how. And so I just started to record Law Subscribe because I was having interesting conversations with lawyers who were using alternative fees. And I was like, gosh, like, wouldn't this be great if I recorded these and published them? LawSubscribe.com was available. Grabbed it. Like, it was really hard the first 8 months of that show. I had people like Natalie Knowlton, like, let me interview her early on, like some really great, important people. And I was a nobody. And then when you're
hold on. If you're going to say, I know Natalie very well, and when you say important, I have to go, really? But that's just for her to listen to this later, okay? All right, go ahead.
But you know, like for what she's doing and for what she does, and like for what
she's fantastic.
Yeah, for what I'm trying to do with Law Subscribe, it's like it's all about, okay, there's this huge market opportunity here. It's not just about closing the access to justice gap. It's also like, hey, we could help lawyers make more money and close the access to justice gap. And Natalie's always been great about how do we sell legal information and not just legal services. So anyway, it was a great early fit. She's been back on as a guest twice, actually. And I was talking about it. I was like, gosh, I can't just talk about it. It's hard to like do this. I need to practice it too. And I tried to build a subscription practice inside of the firm I was with at the time, but ultimately had to leave to start my own practice. So actually podcast came first, then that. Well, eventually, I also have other podcasts, by the way, that are not legal specific, but I had 3 legal podcasts. Now I have 2.
Yeah.
And so I also do.
So tell us about the 2 that are active. Let's start there.
Sure. So Law Subscribe is still going today. I actually interviewed Arjan Robbins today live on LinkedIn. And for you and your audience, Nick, I'll say that for whatever reason you do podcasting, right? And there's a lot of great reasons to do it. And you could do it for multiple reasons, especially as attorneys. And I will say my CLE podcasting for lawyers is a popular one. I think recording live is great. I know we're doing this pre-recorded, and I always offer the pre-recording stuff to guests, but you show up live, and then if you eventually build up a big backlog, like I'm produced into September, like through the end of September now, the episode is still out there, and it's live, and it's available, but guess what? It's on LinkedIn. And so it's not going to be as easily as discoverable as on a podcast app, but hundreds of people, actually over 1,600 people watched Legal AI Live on the last episode, Nick, if you could believe it.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn is a great place for discovery and for people to watch, but it's not a great place for them to go and catch up on backlog. So by recording live, for the guest, it's available right away if they wanted to share it. But then also you syndicate it many months later and it gets another hit, and then you publish it on the newsletter and you publish the shorts and you publish all that stuff. So it's really great. So Law Subscribe still going great. Recorded a live today. I think I do 2 or 3 lives a week for that, believe it or not.
And so Law Subscribed is the podcast. Your website is subscriptionattorney.com, right?
Podcast is a totally separate business and separate entity from the law firm.
But they're similar names there. That threw me. I just want to make sure that the guests know. Yeah. One is the podcast and the other is the law firm.
The law firm. Subscription Attorney is the law firm. My brand is the Subscription Attorney. And it's sort of like, I don't know if you're a Star Wars fan, but like George Lucas is quoted as all the time of saying like it's, it rhymes, like the storytelling, it rhymes, right? Well, so it kind of rhymes. It's similar. Law Subscribe, Subscription Attorney. Yeah. One is about doing the thing, Subscription Attorney. The other is about inspiring other lawyers and highlighting the work of other lawyers who are doing the thing, Law Subscribed. And so one is the podcast, one is the firm, and there's synergy there, but they're totally different.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we had that branding and that so people know where to get a hold of you or where to find podcast versus firm.
Hey, look, I've got Claude recommending my firm, Nick. People are going to find me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, he is everywhere in the legal space, so you're going to find him.
But then I'll say Legal AI Live came together actually because do you know Steve Fretzen?
I know the name. I don't know him personally, but I think we follow each other.
Sure. He's host of Be That Lawyer. We actually used to be neighbors in the same town in the suburbs of Chicago. He moved to a couple towns over now, but he was early in the legal podcasting space when that really started taking off in, I want to say, like 2020 or like 2019. And so he started getting together. What he does, he's a biz dev lawyer coach, and he hosts these masterminds, and he charges a nice amount, but he also helps lawyers significantly increase their book of business, right? So he started to host these AI roundtables for free, just for like experts in the space. Eventually, I got invited. Dennis Kennedy was there. And
Dennis is a wonderful person. We will add that.
Dennis is great. And so, of course, I've been listening to the Kenny Mile Report for like
forever.
A decade, right?
We all have.
Yeah. And so that was great. Dennis and I hit it off. He ended up being a guest on my podcast. And then Steve Fretzen said, hey, I don't have time to run this thing. Hey, who wants to take it over? And Dennis and I kind of like raised our hands a little bit. And we were like, hey, wouldn't this be great if we have it be a live thing? And then I have the podcasting production and everything know-how. So Dennis and I were like, hey, let's have these same conversations we were having, but in public. And let's record it and let's produce it and let's put it out as a podcast. And while I came up with Legal AI Live, he came up with a lot of the early ideation of how we're going to do this thing, who we're going to invite. Hey, let's, instead of just publishing it straight up as a podcast, let's make it a 2-parter, right? To keep people waiting in between episodes. So Dennis really had a huge role to play in the formation of Legal AI Live.
Yeah, he's just a wonderful guy who wants nothing but the best for everybody in the space and who is just living the AI stuff right now. So God, we just love him.
For our audience, can you go into the Sunsetted podcast for us?
Yeah, sure. So also, I mean, is this the podcast about podcasting? Because
sometimes that happens.
Very meta.
Yeah. So Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, a Legal Talk Network show. By the way, I should also say I don't produce this one. I'm just the talent. I'm one of the newer co-hosts of At the Bar, which is the Chicago Bar Association podcast. That's also an LTN show, so part of the LTN family. And I helped launch Young Lawyer Rising, the Young Lawyers Division podcast through Legal Talk Network and the ABA. Dude, it goes deep.
It is. Well, that's the thing about podcasting is how you meet people doing this and how that turns into the next thing. Yeah, I was in it, from 15 to 21, and it's a great ride. So you're living it.
I know. So anyway, Conrad and Guy, I was listening to their pod for a while, and they always talk about building brand affinity. And this is the type of marketing that like just doesn't scale and isn't trackable in that kind of way. So between that and my CPA telling me, hey, I could hire my daughter if I could do so in such a way, he's like, you're a lawyer, you'll figure out how to comply with it. But like, there's good financial things you could do with that. I was able to interview my daughter, just like quick questions. Like she got on camera.
How old was your daughter at this time?
At the time, she was about 3.5. So it was actually 2 years ago. But it's great because look, I only published 8 episodes, like 1 minute-ish episodes. And she asked a question, what is negligence? What is assuming a duty? What are damages? Because that's a question. I was like, what are questions I get all the time from clients that like I have to explain all the time? And the thought was, hey, have a cute kid voice asking a question, me answering it as quickly as I can because kids have short brains. And the idea is build brand affinity. Oh, look, he's talking to kids to teach them legal concepts in a bite-sized minute. And I hope teachers would share it and parents would share it. And like that was the idea, was really build brand affinity. Look, it spread on Instagram amongst family and friends, and I got a few clients from it, but it's hard to produce a show. So yeah, lfkpod.com, lawforkidspodcast.com. They all redirect to the same place, all back-ended by Substack, all recorded and produced in Descript, right? And it's still out there. The 8 episodes are there if people want to check it out.
I think it's kind of a cool way to introduce, I think the legal industry might have, or at least maybe for the audience that isn't part of the legal world, it has a stereotype of being very complex, hard to understand. But if you're answering questions from your daughter about legal concepts, you're helping other people understand those harder concepts into plain language, which makes things more accessible for people.
I may return back to it at some point in the future.
It's like your version of Eminem having Haley on the My Dad's Gone Crazy track early on. That's how I'm viewing it.
Deep cut.
Yeah. That was a good. I pulled back pretty far on that reference. So
I'll tell you what I do though. Now my daughter's 5.5 and she's got like personality and everything. I don't think I'm ever going to publish this, but we record for like our version of family home videos. We don't do it every Friday, but some Fridays I even made a Gemini graphic of like daddy on a horse and knight in shining armor, and she's a flying superhero, and there's a princess castle, and we put it on the TV in the background. We pull up some chairs, and it's like a podcast studio, and it's called Talking with Audrey. And I just interview, her, and we just have a conversation about what's she's learning at school, who are her best friends. I just think it's treated like
that's
a podcast.
Really great.
Yeah,
that's a really great family history to pull together, though, for the long term. Right, you'll be able to go back to that one day. It has a better impact, I think, than it's the new version of the photo album.
Look, the things that I'm doing for my firm and just for brand awareness, why not apply that to my life in some way? I like to think like I was a Starbucks barista for 9 months because I graduated a semester early from college and I couldn't find a job at a law firm at the time because I had no connections. I'm a first-generation lawyer. And so I worked at Starbucks for 9 months. Well, I make my wife a cappuccino every morning. So I'm still using skills for my family that I learned in other places. And why not, right?
That's right. Let's go to how you got into the subscription practice. Tell me about that. So you were working for somebody else, but my intro to the subscription practice was Kim Bennett. And then you seem to have really run with the subscription practice as well.
Yeah, and Kim was great in the early days. I mean, she still is, but I'm saying like
she's amazing.
Early on, I think it was 2020. It was early pandemic. I reached out to her because she's one of these attorneys out there who was using subscription, and we chatted for 30 minutes, and it was great. And she just, she would always talk to anybody about that. That was even before Fadoo, right?
Yeah.
And then she wasn't the first interview I did for Law Subscribed. I was banking interviews, and when I launched Law Subscribed, she was the first interview that I go out there with the attorney who had made a name for herself doing subscription. And then I had her and Blaine on the show live, not recorded live at ABA Tech Show, not like an actual live thing. I didn't know how to do live back then, Nick.
Yeah.
When they were there, when Fadoo was in Startup Alley and they won 3rd place, which I voted for them. I wish they would have not just won 3rd at the time, right? And yeah, so Kim is a pioneer. I mean, so many attorneys are pioneers. Nick, I've interviewed lawyers on the show who've been doing it for decades, and Kim's been doing it for 15 plus years now. It's really amazing, but I'm going to say something that's totally not relatable to any other lawyer. I looked into subscription because I hated billing by the hour. Oh, wait. Okay. I think maybe some other lawyers might be
There's able to a lot who feel that way. Yeah.
Right. I just, a lot of things were coming together, and I was actually having a conversation with Kyle McEntee I'm just going to name drop. This is the name drop episode.
Yeah. Look, I knew all these people before you.
Okay,
Matthew. I just want, just if we're going to name drop, I just have to do the hierarchy. No, I'm just kidding.
You got it. Us doppelgangers, though, they might confuse us, right? If I grab a beard and put on my glasses. But like I was talking to Kyle McEntee about something, and he was like, oh, well, just do subscription. And it never dawned on me that was a viable business model for services related, things before. And super smart guy. I actually just reconnected with him for Foundations 2.0 that their LSAC is helping us with.
Okay.
And so anyway, that happened, and I hated billing by the hour. I got off a call with my dad one day a few years into billing by the hour, and I was like, okay, that's 0.3. And I'm like, gosh, what am I doing? Like, this is no way to live. And now I say, well, if I value the time I spend with my family, and I don't like to assign dollar value to time ever, $1 million an hour, right? An amount of money that it would be nonsensical for anybody to actually pay me to take away time from my family. So I'm able to think about it differently now. But that was a big tipping point too for me. And eventually just having the podcast, talking to other lawyers about how they're doing it, advocating for it. I just had to do it. I didn't have a choice. It's like Socrates says, to know the good is to do the good. By the way, I was a philosophy undergrad.
Yeah, I picked that up there.
And I had to, like, I knew what it was. I had to go and do it, right? I couldn't go bill hours during the day and preach subscription, in the evening.
Yeah. My dad taught me when I was working for him and for one of his friends my mentor, I'd have to go run something to the, file papers at the court or something. And then I'd have to look something up at the county recorder's office. And I'd have to do things on 3 different cases, and I'd bill a third. And my dad was like, you're never going to make it, Nick, as a lawyer. He's like, it's not going to be for you because you're going to be too honest about, he said, what most lawyers would do is they would bill an hour to each client because it would have taken an hour to do each thing. And he's like, I'm just telling you now, I think you'll be a great lawyer, but not going to be for you. And so that was from an early stage. This is really important.
How long ago was that he said that?
25 years.
Okay.
20 years.
What he explained is value-based billing. Okay. That's what it is, because for each client, the value was a quote unquote hour, but you can't bill the same hour to 3 different clients. Mm-hmm. So what do? Well, you do value-based billing instead, right? And you have a different arrangement with them that has nothing to do with time.
Yeah. Yep. And his point was that most attorneys would have done an hour across for each. That was what they would do.
Yeah,
yeah. And I was like, that's not right. That was not what we were learning in professional responsibility. So that wasn't right.
So the Chicago Bar Association just had their AI 2035 symposium, 3-day symposium, really great event. And to drive the point home during my panel, which was called, to no one's surprise at this point in the interview, the AI-driven collapse of the billable hour.
Right.
Before we got started with the panel, which I was both a moderator and a speaker, but I had Joey Gartner on the panel and Susan Guthrie, who are also great.
Yep.
I showed everybody how I'm going to now perform some quick analysis inside of Paxton, which is my preferred legal AI tool, and of an MSA I grabbed from like an Edgar filing that was like a publicly available MSA, and told it who I was, the party that I represented, which was the party that was not favored by it, because I wanted to have some suggested changes. And then
Pause there, Matthew. Pause there. Hannah, MSA is a master services agreement. Hannah is our marketing genius in the legal tech space. She is not. She does not have the legal background that we have, so I want to get her on. This is a master services agreement.
In this context, as in other contexts, it's a marital settlement agreement, right?
That is a different context. Yes, correct.
Yeah, but you're not going to pull that from Edgar. So, yes. So then I told Comet Browser, because I recently upgraded to Perplexity Enterprise for $400 a year. I told Comet Browser to take all those suggested changes in Paxton and redline it into this Google Doc of the MSA, which I had it open up as a Google Doc. And it proceeded to go through and follow the red lines per my instructions. It was more detail in that. I'm shortcutting it for this podcast.
Sure.
But then I said, now we're going to teach now we're going to present the CLE. Could I bill the time that it's taking my AI to do that while I'm doing something that's totally different? I don't think so, right?
But don't worry, Big Law's going to find a way. Somebody was like, what are they going to bill an hour if Claude's doing most of the work? And I was like, $3,000 an hour. It's not far away.
For a while, but this doesn't apply to either of you two, but lawyers are bad at math. And they don't think about like the next order effects of that math. Okay, $3,000 an hour today, but then the time continues to shrink that it takes to do things. So what's going to be eventually $30,000 an hour? Is anybody going to pay that? Is that a reasonable fee according to our rules of professional conduct?
Right.
I don't know. So it just
Not
starts to become nonsensical is what happens. And it's like, well, let's freaking value build out a bunch of automations. AI agents are going to be running multiple client work things simultaneously that you'll be lawyer in and on the loop with. and orchestrating. And it would be nonsense. There's not enough hours in the day to bill it in the way that is like the old school billable hour method. But there's a lot of value there, and clients are willing to pay it, but it doesn't make sense to scope each thing every single time. So that's where I really think subscription just makes a heck of a lot of sense as the most common sense business model for the future of services-based industries, legal and beyond.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hannah, because now we're going to get into the real depth of what you're offering now.
So you clearly have a lot going on. You seem very excited about it. How did you end up in the startup legal AI space?
Yeah. So this is a
Besides just being excited.
Yeah, right?
But yes, besides just being excited about it.
Well, there's something about bald white men. I'm just kidding. Although
there is.
Although I have joked before. I was like, you know what legal tech needed? Another bald white man. That's
exactly what.
I see a trend here.
The trend is, I told Hannah, I was like, Hannah, we just don't need more middle-aged guys on podcasts now. We need to change it up.
Yeah. Well, okay. So obvious, just for, some lawyers, I know I'm definitely neurodivergent myself. Some lawyers on the spectrum. That was a joke. I don't.
Sorry.
Yes. I don't.
We're
actually
joking.
Think that we needed another white man in legal tech. No, and I'm being genuinely, I'm being a little sensitive there. I know some people don't always get it, and that's fine. And I was like that until I was 20. I didn't understand sarcasm until I was 20. So,
right.
So anyway, I have met with a lot of important people, CEOs, product leads at legal tech companies, and I begged and I pleaded with them to build a easy to use software tool that lets law firms offer subscriptions where clients could come in, change their own subscription levels, buy more legal services, and check out in a cart. The only lawyer I've ever known to ever actually do it, Jess Birkin, used a bunch of WordPress related plugins and other things to make that herself, but that's not frictionless. And she doesn't even use it anymore because it stopped being supported and it gets convoluted and WordPress is messy.
WordPress is the worst. I remember when Jess was doing it, the best of my recollection, when Jess was doing it, she had a bunch of Zapier integrations and things like that. That, no doubt, I mean, as a mechanic, she nailed this.
Yeah.
Quite a few years ago now.
Yep.
She really nailed it as a mechanic, but it also was, that is messy.
It's messy, and are most lawyers going to be able to put that together and do it? No. And to Kim and Blaine's credit, what they built at Fadoo is really great. And it's really focused on the delivery of legal services for subscription-based law firms. And they integrate with payment providers to handle the payments and stuff. And I ask every time I see them, hey, did you build that client portal thing where they could change their own subscription? And they're like, it's on the roadmap. And I talk to the product people high up at Filevine. And they're like, well, you could do payment plans and you could do this, and I'm like, but that's not what I needed. That's not what the lawyers who because I did a little bit of coaching of lawyers to help them have subscription-based practices. And I found a nice Goldilocks zone of not charging too much, but not charging too little, right? To coach and consult. But I ended up having a wait list on that amongst all the other things I'm doing, right? And so this is none of these software solutions are actually helping the lawyers that do my method of subscription. That I'm teaching. And I have literal copycat websites I see, or lawyers reach out to me. Is it okay? I copied everything. They're like, no, that's the point, right? My engagement agreement is available on my website. All my pricing and all my benefits are available on my website, right? And now, so anyway, I kind of had to, Hannah, to answer the question. And also Thomson Reuters Ventures, who comes to Legal Geek. I had a really good conversation with them last year at Legal Geek, and they were like, oh, we love Shopify for SMB firms, but we only invest in Series A. Good luck.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. They want to know that you've gotten beyond a certain velocity. So
yeah. And so really, I think we've built something that doesn't exist in the legal tech market that is needed. And I think with what we're trying to do to position ourselves is, yes, we want to serve solo and small firm attorneys today. We have some GCs on there who left being general counsels to have started a fractional GC practice. Really, we're seeing the most success with our earliest users who are fractional GCs. But we have all different kinds of practice areas, even of our first 50-something users. But then I think with AI's impact on big law, with Harvey, Legora, August, all these other competitors coming in, you're not going to need 1,000 bodies with these amazing AI tools to do the same amount of work. big law will collapse in terms of body count, probably not in terms of revenue. The revenue will likely go up. But where do those 800 lawyers go when you only need 200?
It's the argument I'm most convinced of, Matthew. I suspect we're going to see more associates, even though I'm long past it, never ended up actually practicing, or I suspect we're just not going to need what I'll say it this way. What I was doing in a small law firm as a research associate versus what I know first year, second year, third year associates at big law firms are doing is they're not practicing law. And I was very much practicing law under somebody else, but they're not really doing that. And I just don't see how you fit them into a big law practice. So my assumption, my prediction, for lack of a better term, I don't like making them, but my prediction is that there's going to be a reduction in associate headcount. I mean, I just don't see how you avoid it.
And here's the thing. We're building Practi to help them start their own like AI native law firms and giving them the financial backbone to do that, right? So getting back to Hannah's question, even like the domain practi.ai was available. We are not selling AI to law firms. We're not. We're an AI native startup. We're using AI. I think we've accomplished in the amount of time that we've been building this, and with the type of work and features that my CTO is able to ship at the speed he's able to ship it would have taken a full outsourced development team like a year to do what we've been able to accomplish in just a few months, right? Like it is. So we are like an AI company to the extent that we're using a heck of a lot of AI, as I am at my firm and with the podcast and everything. But we're not selling AI to law firms. I actually, I've only done some LinkedIn DMs with him over the years, but Zach Abramowitz,
yep.
Strategy, again, name drop episode here.
Sure.
He wrote an article some years ago when AI first hit the scene, talking about the whole because refrigeration thing, right? Where like Coca-Cola exists as a company not because of refrigeration, but refrigeration companies aren't really worth anything compared to what Coca-Cola's market cap is. So is AI just refrigeration? And I think it kind of is, isn't, kind of is, kind of isn't. But I wanted to build a because AI company. So because AI is saving lawyers buckets of time, they have nowhere to go. There's going to be contraction in big law. We want to give them a financial model, like the business solution. One of our taglines is the business solution for the AI powered lawyer, right?
Okay.
Like we built a because AI company for law firms with a focus on solos and smalls.
Okay. So if it's because AI, is it a pretty standard, straightforward SaaS product?
It is. It on the surface looks that way. It does, because we want to make it frictionless, easy to use in less than 10 minutes. If you still have your license, you could spin up a subscription practice, Nick, if you really wanted to.
Never got the license. I never got the license. Okay. But we should now that you know that, we should definitely spin up a practice for me. That'll be fun.
Well, I tried to vibe code this thing, and now I have vibe coded some apps, right? And so the question then becomes, well, is this just part of the SaaS apocalypse? What's stopping a lawyer from just spinning up their own version? I'll tell you what, there's some highly technical lawyers I've met with that, they can. And in fact, past guests of my podcast, they have invested law subscribed, I should say. They have invested a lot of time and effort and money into their systems, like Jess has with hers.
Yep.
And you know what? Like you built your custom solution. Practice
and if it works, it works. Yeah.
It's not for you. It's for every other lawyer that's too busy practicing law and serving their clients and doesn't want to ever have to worry about sending or collecting an invoice ever again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the focus. Yeah, I'll have to demo this one day with you after
demo.practi.com. Go check out the video demo.
I'll check that out.
And you could also just go to youtube.com/@PractiAI. There's only 2 videos, and one of them shows you how to set up your account soup to nuts, which is basically the demo of the whole product. And by the way, like 5 of those 7 minutes is just how to set up and connect your Stripe account, right? Which is like like the hard you don't.
That's always the payment is always the issue.
Set up that, and then you never have to worry about Stripe ever again. Okay, once you set it up and put it in there. Okay, you can, but you don't have to. Now we'll just take care of it in Practi for you in a user-friendly interface. You never have to worry about that ever again.
Excellent.
So you're building Practi AI. You're bringing this business to your target audience. What does that average day look like for you as a founder?
Average day? What is this average day you speak about?
Maybe not average day then.
Average day? I don't think
All the time.
I've not had an average day since starting my own business. So starting my own law firm, right? Like, first of all, what's great about being an entrepreneur, and shout out again to Lauren Lester, because, and if you go to howtorunalawfirm.com, it will redirect to our 18 30-minute episodes for free. But
plug. This is impressive.
Well,
no, I love it.
It is all to help the people unplug in, to get them some notoriety, and it's all free resources, right? And even Practi is free up to a point, because we were trying to drive systemic change in the legal industry, so we have to make it super accessible and affordable. But the thing about entrepreneurship is, even though it's really hard and you work way more than when you're working as an employee for somebody else, it's fill your cup work. Right. And I forget where that metaphor comes from, but at the end of the day, is your cup of energy and feeling good empty, or is it full? And even though I'm exhausted at the end of my day, being a parent and a husband and an entrepreneur and a co-founder and a friend, right? I'm exhausted, but I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm doing something, I'm moving the boulder, not up the hill, but just down the road, right?
Yeah.
And it's all sort of feels good, but no day is like the other. But what I will tell you is, even when the law firm was the dominant thing that took up my week, and it's not anymore because I've automated and I use a lot of AI and stuff to automate a lot of this, I've always controlled my time really well. And I leverage Calendly to do so in large part, and Google Workspace integrated with Calendly. And I've actually, a year ago in February 25, I was one of 3 customers that Calendly actually brought out to their annual onsite to talk with. They do this with customers every year. They bring a solopreneur, a mid-sized business, and a large business customer, or maybe a nonprofit or something.
Okay.
So I got to go out there and I got to meet Tope. Tope scheduled an hour-long call using my Calendly link. The founder of Calendly used my Calendly link. That might be the coolest moment in my whole life. And yes, I have a child. Coolest, not most important, but coolest, right?
Okay. All right. Fair.
We have differentiation.
Yes. And so I do love Calendly, and I actually follow a lot of what Calendly did when we're building Practi, because Google has Google Appointments, Microsoft has Microsoft Bookings. Calendly, why are they still a multi-billion-dollar company? Because people will pay for best-of-breed, feature-rich vertical products that integrate with everything. I want Practi to integrate with every LPM that will let me. Sorry, Filevine, I think you're a closed ecosystem, but we'll integrate, Like we're happy to if you want to, So I use Calendly to control my time, and I use all the automations up the wazoo, and all the filters and automations and features. You can I only let somebody schedule one LinkedIn Live with me a day, because at one point I had 3 in a day back to back going live on LinkedIn.
It can easily take up too much time. That's understandable that you limited it.
Yeah, and you adapt it and you evolve. Right? Just like my business model had evolved at my law firm. Although the $20 a month thing was always there. I used to say $19.99 a month, and then that just got too hard for marketing. So I just added a cent. But turns out clients prefer having 0 at the end of their prices, because they think they're getting a premium product, even if they're getting a bargain of a price, right? So it's all about psychology. Thank you, Mark Stiven.
And that psychology may have changed over it used to be, right, that if you did the 9, but people may have gotten tired of seeing that too, that the 0 or the flat rate may just look more appropriate for a service. I haven't studied.
And it's probably just more convenient too for the consumer.
I think it is. When you see that something comes up on your bill for $20 or $80 or $100, you're like, okay, when you see the 99, you're like, I don't remember what that is, but it doesn't, I'm not sure. I haven't done the research in a long time, Matthew. I remember doing it for pricing before, but that doesn't surprise me that they like a round number now. I like it when I see it on a website.
And it's also just, it's better copy. 19.9920, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
And what's interesting is, so I launched that pricing in March of 2022, $20 a month to get access to your attorney and get access to scheduled 15-minute calls and access to other below market flat fee services, right? Still an offering today. That's not, you get everything for $20 a month. No, it's $50 a page, like if I'm actually doing substantive review, and you don't get legal research. That's at $500 a month and up, right? But interestingly, all the AI companies picked a particular price point. Geez, I wonder what it is. Oh, it's $20 a month. And so here's what I know for a fact, Hannah and Nick. Clients or would-be clients of law firms are willing to pay $20 a month for legal advice, because you know what they're asking their AI tools? And they're asking me at $20 a month for legal advice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we all know I've tested it, right? Like, I'm in the space. I'm obviously going to ask some legal questions. Yeah. Oh, and that before I contact my attorney, so that I'm, maybe up to date a little bit with what's going on. So
and when that Crafton case came out, if you follow what happened with Crafton in Delaware, video game company CEO acquires some other video game company, Subnautica 2. It's actually making the rounds right now. I used to be a gamer before I was a parent and entrepreneur.
I see this.
And so, but I still like to pay attention, especially the legal news happening in games. So when I saw the Crafton case, so what happened is the Crafton CEO was having a conversation with his enterprise, no training the model, a ChatGPT about, hey, how do I not do this $250 million payout? And then followed the instructions to a T, and he deleted the conversation. But guess what? There were emails in the company talking about, hey, we're following the directions from ChatGPT. So who got subpoenaed? OpenAI. And what did they turn over? So here's the thing, right? Like, if you want attorney-client privilege preserved, you better have your lawyer use AI. Right.
Here's another simple one, Matthew. Pick up the phone if you're going to do these ridiculous things, right? If you're going to make ridiculous plans, pick up the phone and don't put it in writing.
Well, why didn't he pick up the phone? Because he doesn't want to pay his expensive billable hour lawyer. But what if he was already paying a few $1,000s a month to his corporate fractional GC attorney? You think he would have picked up the phone? He would have.
I love your marketing skill. Hannah, you've got to be able to ask on this, on the marketing skill alone. He has really dialed it in.
No, I love it. I think it's great.
I don't mean to throw you off there, but I was like,
you can also ask me whatever you want, Hannah. Ask me whatever you want.
Yeah.
No, I got to think of something on the spot.
No, not really.
Slightly thrown off, but that's okay. I actually have a question. So you were talking about your Because AI startup. Have you had any pushback from people that you're trying to bring Practi AI to? Like, what have they said about that? I think I might have another follow-up question after that too, actually.
Yeah. And like, I know, like, so I don't know if this is also a video podcast, but I hope it is. And like on the video, you'll see under my name, it says Practi.ai. That's the URL. We just call ourselves Practi. I mean, you can call us Practi AI if you want, but that's okay. And I no need to edit that out. I mean, frankly, like, leave it in. I think we're going to have to deal with that a little bit. So yeah, good marketer, Nick, but branding could use a little bit of work, right?
Not necessarily. Matthew, I'm going to give you credit. I'm going to give you a lot of credit. I specifically was like, I need to ask him to differentiate the law subscribed and the subscriptionattorney.com. And because you really did have, are they all one brand? No. But are they all related? Very much so. And so, no, I give you a lot of credit for it.
And all separate, legal, distinct
It's a very
entities.
impressive ecosystem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And to make it really complicated on yourself, you made them all separate entities,
And I have different backgrounds for all of them too, right? Law subscribed, I've got subscription attorney, and I don't have this for Practi yet, but like, if I was talking to a client and they needed to get the website, right, I could throw that up. So again, sorry, I can't really sportscast this, so you're gonna have to watch the video version of this show, okay?
Yeah, so I really do. I like to give credit where it's due, and you've really built quite a brand of a broad ecosystem of brands. So
I appreciate that. So, and my consulting company, of which Law Subscribed is an assumed business name, is called Kerbis First. So it's my own metaverse of brands, if you will, in a way.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it is.
So to answer on his question, the I get sometimes is like, another tech tool I have to sign up for, right? Which is why I think we've made it stupid simple. And like, I don't know exactly when this is going to air, but we're in the 50 to 60 range of users now. Until we get to user 100, we're trying to do this like white glove service of, you make your account, you do this, you do this cool vibe coded app thing where you just click a button, you answer verbally the questions on the screen, you click the button again, I get the audio file, we're able to transcribe it, use some agentic AI to just build out your Practi platform, right? We might try to build out that agentic thing in the future anyway, but at least for now, it's a little bit more of a manual process, like a Mechanical Turk style thing. So we're really trying to make it easy so that, okay, all you have to do is literally like sign in with Google, pick your practice area and jurisdiction, right? Like, and accept our terms of use, you know, our terms of service. If you could do that, we will build out your whole subscription package based on everything available from you on the internet and you answering some questions verbally that should just take a few minutes. And so that's how we're trying to get over that friction point of like, it's just another software solution. I already have a bundle of software solutions. The other way we're getting over it is it's free to make your account. It's free to set up your subscriptions and get this white glove service, at least early days. If you're listening to this and it's 2027, I don't know, hopefully we have an agentic version of this. But then it's also free to subscribe your first client through Practi, because I'm a small law firm owner, solo practice attorney. I get sold on legal tech and tech and AI all the time. And I know it's like, well, what's the ROI? Well, if you get your first client for free, like before we start charging, there's the Stripe processing fees, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't see any of that. Then you know when you get your second client, then there's value here. You're making money. We've already made your money. And for early access pricing, it's only $20 a month. Mm-hmm. Later this year, it's 2026 at time of recording. We will go up to $100 a month. But I freaking hope after 2 clients, you're making more than $100 a month. And so we really want to return. So that's another thing is like, well, what's it going to cost? Because legal tech is really expensive. Well, it doesn't have to be. And since we're not selling AI, we just have, we have high margins, right? As a software company. So we could charge a low price. And then the last thing is, well, I don't know how to build on my subscriptions. Like even if I'm in there, even if it's free, and even if I don't care about signing up for a new thing. So I built out a notebook at notebook.practi.ai, which has today it has 276 curated resources of podcasts I've done, interviews from my shows, CLE materials, articles I've written, and you ask a subscription question, it's the same answer I would give. And so you could ask all your questions to this tool. And by the way, I use that tool when you answer your audio questions and we transcribe it to help build out subscriptions. And that tool is free. All you need is a Google account. And you could go to notebook.practi.ai and use it. In the future, this will be built into Practi and available to all Practi users, even those with a free account. So those are the things we've done to try to address the hurdles that we face and trying to get more law firms to sign up for it. But other than that, it's just like, we don't have we're not sending a pile of money. So marketing, getting the word out, like that's really the biggest hurdle is like awareness of the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And is most of the marketing that you do, is that mainly just through organic, social, maybe some like email campaigns? Is that just mainly the not paid
authoritative podcasts?
Like the best ones like Legal Tech Live.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll say podcasting is a big part of the strategy and getting out there. And we have gotten some users who are like, oh, I heard you on this podcast or whatever. Jared Correa, I went on his podcast.
He's great.
His newer one, Legal Late Night, which is such a perfect brand for him.
That is perfect. I didn't even know he had it. I'll have to go and listen now.
Yeah, Legal Broadcasting Company or Legal Podcast Company. I forget the name of the production company that I think he's also part of for the new show. Sorry, they could work on some branding there, but Legal Late Night is great.
That is great.
And so like that was good. He's a consultant to law firms, so now we're a tool in his toolbox that when law firms want to do subscription, he knows, oh well, Practi is available for that. I'm part of the Above the Line network, which is through Aisles, so that's all the attorneys. So Jess Bednar's a shout out. She, her and a lot of people put together this thing of lawyers who serve the middle market clients, those who don't qualify for legal aid but are not high net worth individuals. By the way, most lawyers fall into this category.
That's right. That's what most people don't understand.
Yeah. And so I've done some programming for some of the leadership there, and I hope to do more programming for their lawyers that are also not charging a lot of money and already using alternative fees mostly anyway. And yeah, I actually plan to launch 3 new podcasts as part of our go-to-market strategy. The Billpocalypse, which I also have the AI Billpocalypse, PractiPod, and Ditching Time. We're going to be launching a podcast network as part of our go-to-market strategy, and they're all going to do different things, right? The Billpocalypse is all about news coverage. It's like our news commentary about how AI is affecting business models and legal services and broadly, right? And I have a Perplexity notice, daily task that's feeding me information on there. The Ditching Time is where we're going to be interviewing lawyers who are using Practi, who are talk about how they've ditched time and moved to subscription and the things that they're doing and the tech that they're using. And then the Practi Pod will be our catch-all, whatever we want to talk about, maybe show cool new features. And it's going to be a little bit more businessy, hey, ooh, look at us. It's our business podcast.
Yeah. Will you host all 3 of those?
Only to start, Nick. Only to get.
I
it
was
off
going
the
to say,
ground.
I mean, look, one continuous podcast for a lot of years is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I love your energy, but at the same time, I'm like, well, slow down, Matthew.
I'm
Like,
so happy to have an actual company that could raise, money. Not that I'm saying anything about that. I'm just, this is
right.
a thing we can do.
Yep.
And so if we do that, I would be able to hire talent, which would be great.
Which
And
would
it's
be
not like
great.
there's a shortage of legal tech and legal podcasters out there that might be
No.
interested in doing something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's excellent. Hannah, you had a follow-up on that on your last question, I think. I didn't mean to cut you short.
Yeah, I guess it's a broader follow-up question to the one I just had. At least in my mind, again, I think Nick said it, like I'm more of a legal tech marketer. I don't have the law degree. I didn't go to law school, but my assumption is that lawyers don't like the billable hour model, but what other options are there? And you're obviously having a business that's promoting the subscription model. How are people responding to that model? Are they opposed to it? Do they stray from tradition? What's the general attitude?
Yeah, well, I will also say my technical co-founder does not come from a legal background. He's a former Googler, Amazon Web Services, and he was at Twitter when Elon took over. Ask him about it sometime. So it's nice to have somebody that isn't trapped by dogma who's on your founding team, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but usually their eyes open real wide, Hannah. Like I did 52 speaking engagements last year, and now I'm targeting by September, I think I will have done 30 something this year, right? So like I get out there a lot. Sometimes it's on podcasts like this, but half of it is in person, like at law firms, sometimes at big law firms. And when lawyers say, "Oh, the subscription attorney," what does that mean? I'm like, well, I'm an attorney and I charge on subscription and I don't track or bill time. And then their eyes open wide. They're like, that's an option? I didn't know that was an option. Oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? Oh, wait, they're paying me $200,000. Maybe I'll do this a little bit longer.
Yeah, when you get that paycheck, maybe you hold on to that for a while.
For
right?
now, anyway, right? Especially the young associates, their eyes just open wide because they weren't taught business in law school. I wasn't taught business in law school. I mean,
Nobody was.
I've done like 12 guest lectures to law schools this year already, which I come to talk about the business of law. And by the way, I give away everything for free, right? And I think that's like a good marketing play too, like all the ideas. And I was giving it away for free, and I wasn't seeing adoption. So like that's part of the reason I had to co-found Practi. I think
That's
more, yeah.
You learned a lesson there. This is what I learned in podcasting, what I learned in other businesses, is that you can give away the ideas. The chances that somebody's going to implement them even after you give them away is slim to none. They're just not. They want a magic answer. They want somebody else to do it for them, or they think having an idea is a great thing, and having an idea is a really simple thing to do. Yeah.
Not all ideas are great. Misfortune cookies was an idea I came up with as a teenager. It's like misfortune cookies, right? Whatever.
First of all, the fact that didn't take off is sad because that's hilarious.
So anyway, I also came up with a smartwatch in 2008 that my fraternity brother and I were starting to develop, and then Pebble came out, and we were like, oh darn, we were too late. But anyway, yes.
Or you can be too early. You can also
be
too early.
Way too early. And look, with Practi, we don't know, right? Because I think we're in the middle of an exponential growth curve. And in conversations we've had with people that are looking at this space, some of them have said, well, I don't know if the timing is right. It's like, well, I'm not late. That's for sure.
You're right.
But
that's right.
But even Spellbook, right? And Daniel DeMaria has been on my podcast as well.
Yep.
I'm just going to name drop as many people as I can. They pivoted.
I like it.
They pivoted from Rally, and you know what Rally did?
Yeah, they did.
Rally was before Purdue helped law firms use subscription billing, and it's still out there. You can go look. I think it's rallylegal.com.
Yeah, it was Rally Legal. I remember.
Yeah, it's still out there, and you could still do that, and because they believe in AI. Reducing the time it takes to do legal work. It's on all of Spellbook's marketing material.
Yeah. Well, we all believe in that, right? We all think, well, maybe not all of us. There are holdouts, but I think all of us in the legal technology space tend to believe that this is a possibility and a probability.
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody in the practice of law space necessarily.
Yeah, but even like taking all of that and going back to answer Hannah's question directly is they knew contingency is an option, personal injury stuff, right? Or even like success fees, like Wachtell Lipton with Twitter, right? Like success fees is an option. They know there's flat fee pricing, and that they don't. That's not really totally value based pricing, but kind of value based. But like lawyers don't know that jargon generally speaking. But flat fee or fixed fee, and then they know hourly. They didn't know subscription was an option, and it really solves the overscoping, underscoping problem of flat fees or value based pricing. So, for example, they say litigation. It can never work in litigation. Scope changes. We don't know the scope. Whatever. Guess what? If it takes longer and you're on a monthly subscription, it went another month and you got paid more. Hey, guess what? If it's uncontested divorce and it switches to contested, you have in your engagement agreement, and a tool like Practi lets you do this simply. You go from $500 a month to $1,500 a month. Okay, like you want to do phase-based litigation subscription pricing, pleadings. It's $500 a month. Written and oral discovery, it goes up to $1,000 a month. Expert discovery and pretrial, $2,000 a month. Right? Trial, $1,000 a week or whatever. Right? So the point is subscription solves all the over-scoping problems of flat fees, and lawyers just didn't know it was an option. And there's never been a tool until Practi that makes it really easy to execute on it.
Excellent stuff. Hannah, any last minutes before we wrap up?
I don't have any on my end. Nick, do you have any?
Well, I think the most important one, and one that I've forgotten because I have to dust off the podcasting abilities here, is where do people find you, Mathew?
Oh, man, yeah, we're going to have to sneak something in at the beginning that says, stick around to the end of the episode when Mathew reveals his AI secrets, and then that way your retention is up, right? But by the way, I gave away some AI secrets during this, so the Notebook LM thing, I think, is a good one. People find me by asking whatever their favorite AI tool is to say, tell me about the subscription attorney. But also on LinkedIn, Mathew Kerbis, Mathew with one T, Kerbis with a K, just how it sounds is how it's spelled. Practi.ai, obviously, if you're a law firm, you're curious about subscription billing, hey, you don't have to give up hourly billing today, though we'll help you do that, but it's free to sign up and make an account and get started. We're really trying to drive systemic change here. And just like with my AI, there's no one AI tool to rule them all. You need more than just a power drill to remodel a bathroom. We're not trying to replace your whole legal tech stack. I think that we're very positive on lawyers adopting and using as much legal tech and AI as possible, and even other like seemingly at first competitive products, because we just focus on one thing and one thing only. So yeah, Practi.ai, sign up, get your free account, at least get that backlink back to your website with your Practi URL. I mean, come on, right?
Pretty simple. Pretty good ask. Getting a backlink's a smart move to get people to sign up.
Right?
I like that. Yeah. Mathew Kerbis has been our guest tonight. Practi.ai. Law Subscribed, the subscription attorney. We'll have all the links for you in the show. You can find our episodes at LegalTechLive.com. Sign up for getting these in your email newsletter, and stay tuned. We'll have another show for you next week. Thanks again, Mathew.
Thanks for having me.